Hello everybody, welcome to the final round of Marbula E, brought to you by Envision Virgin Racing and Yellow's Marble Runs. The final round takes place in London. My name is Jack Nicholls. Greg Woods alongside me for the call. It all comes down to this, Greg.
Let's finish this championship strong. Who wants it more, Mercedes or Porsche?
It's that two-horse fight coming into the final round, and Porsche have got a good advantage, 12 points clear of Mercedes. They're on 81 points, Mercedes on 69. And if Porsche have a bad race, there's still a lot of marbles behind that can win the title overall. This is the order they'll be going out in, so keep your eyes peeled for Porsche and Mercedes, who will be heading out onto the course. Nissan will be the first marble out on track for the final qualifying run in London. Away we go then. Nissan, get us going. It's our first look at this nice, big, long, expansive flowing course, and we've even got this little ramp section that was due to be in the real world London E-Prix course, and it's a lot different to the New York City course from last time out.
Very much so. This is much more of a smooth, undulating track. Those little switchbacks could add some interesting overtaking opportunities, as could this final sector here.
So Nissan across the line at 27.09 is what we set off with. Now here come Envision Virgin Racing. They'll be hoping for a strong end to the season, having brought us so much joy with organising this whole series.
And what a fun series this has been. I know we're only a few races into this, we're already at the end, but it's given us such an interesting taste of what Marbula E could become. And through that first split, only 9/100ths of a second off. What can Envision do heading to the run to the line?
It's going to be a close one with Nissan across the timing beam, and they go second. So not too far away from Nissan. Next up, we've got Audi charging down through that fast-flowing right, left, right sequence of corners before heading into the switchbacks.
And they are provisionally ahead by 9/100ths of a second, and charging is the perfect word to use after they started 10th in the last race, found themselves in the lead after a very short amount of time, and they ran strong throughout that event, and they would love to replicate that here, except maybe qualifying a little better.
Well, let's see what they've managed. They've gone to the top of the times for the moment, albeit only 3 marbles have run, but a pretty decent start that for the Audi. It's Venturi now out on the course.
Our third place qualifier in the last race in New York. All the times thus far through that first split have been so close. It may be a little bit of a testament to the track design, or just how much these marbles are on top form, trying to win a championship, or at least improve their position if they're not in the title hunt.
Here come Venturi out towards the line. What sort of performance is this? It's third place, so ahead of Envision at 27.16. Now we have Dragon out on the course, but yeah, you're right, that first split is so interesting. I don't know if it's because it's just a little less technical than some of the parts of the track later on. Only a 10th of a second away, Dragon, so it's almost like there's not much time to be won or lost there, and it's all coming down to the second half of the lap.
It's interesting, a 10th of a second is about the highest gap that we have seen thus far through there. So it's this area that could make or break your lap, certainly in qualifying. We'll see about in the race.
Dragon, okay, 27 exactly. Now Jaguar coming down. They are the 6th marble to run here on this expansive open London course. Apart from this little switchback sequence where there's so much time to be won and lost, we'll see what Jaguar can do in the first split and how far up the order they can qualify. Long circuit this one as well, isn't it?
They've taken this and stretched it out a little bit, certainly for the marbles later on in the race. It's going to feel like this is a lot longer than the circuit actually is.
29.12 for Jaguar. They appeared to make the circuit a lot longer than it actually is, because that's not a very good lap time. Neo 333 next up, the blue marble swinging through the first sector. Because it's so fast, they're just 6/100ths of a second away. The first sector is about 7 seconds, whereas the rest of the lap is another 20.
And for a marble like this, they've been sitting middle of the pack throughout. They are chomping at the bit to have a good finish and a good qualifying. And could this be the day that they finally do it? They were good in the first split, and they made it up a little bit, but middle of the pack so far.
It looks as though they're going to continue their form throughout the remainder of the season, doesn't it? DS Techeetah have had flashes this year. They've been up at the front, quite often really front runners, but not quite enough to be in title contention with Porsche and Mercedes. Here they come around the final part of the course.
We forget that in the last race there was a three-way tie for fourth place. Every 3 marbles or so down the championship are kind of in a battle with each other, and Techeetah was in that second pack.
Haven't qualified very well though, 6th place. Only Envision and Jaguar are further back. Here come BMW through the first split, and they're 500ths of a second away from Audi, but it's all about the run through the switchbacks, then the run towards the final technical section in front of the huge grandstands where all the marbles have packed in to watch the action unfold for the final round of Marbula. BMW in big trouble. They're in the wall. They're out of qualifying, surely.
And what happened here? It was an interesting line. They clipped the apex, it looked like, and that put them square into the wall, unable to continue.
Just too early a turn in. You see that accident so often on street courses where you clip the wall on the inside and then straight into the wall on the outside. So it did not qualify for BMW. What can Mahindra do now then? They're into this sequence of corners. This is where BMW came unstuck just here, but no such troubles for the Indian outfit. Couple more corners to go. Where are they going to slot in the grand scheme of things? Mahindra go 8th. Not bad, but not exactly good.
But we're learning with every single run here. We've learned a little bit about the first sector and how fast it is, but we've also learned that discretion is the better part of valor when you're attacking some of these turns in the long second sector, trying to make up time, because maybe it does feel like it's stretching onward and you're behind the clock, when really it's just a very long sector.
Porsche, the title leaders, the championship leaders. What can they do in qualifying here? Across the line, and it's second. Another strong qualifying performance. They were mighty impressive last time out. Mercedes choked last time out in New York City. Absolutely appalling performance. They're a 1/10 of a second away from Audi in the first split. Okay, a long way of the course to go, but the pressure is going to be building and building and building, and have they got the shoulders for it?
They really need a good qualifying here because they need a little bit of help in the race also. With a 12-point deficit, you've got to talk about the permutations and how that works, and it's only going to be beneficial if you qualify well, and they haven't.
Oh, this is looking tougher and tougher for Mercedes, the marble that has led the championship throughout the entirety of Marbula until the last round. Audi quickest, Porsche and Dragon tied exactly on lap time. 4th is Nissan, Mercedes 6th, and they're just going to be in such the middle of the pack, such a opportunity to get involved in someone else's accident. Here we go, for the final time in Marbula, we're about to go racing. We go rolling in London. Everybody flies through the first couple of corners and Porsche hit the front. The championship leaders out in first place, and Mercedes have dropped back. They're down into 10th position off the start, and this is looking more and more like it's going to head towards Porsche, but we've still got 5 minutes plus a lap to go. A lot can happen in Marbula.
And what is this going to look like in a race scenario when you get all of these marbles bunched together through this second sector? Thus far, they've got a long ways to go to catch Porsche, but anything could happen. Still a lot of racing to go. Mercedes, though, they need to get to the front, and they need to have Porsche going the opposite direction, finishing in 4th or worse in order to win the championship.
Now, here come Audi and Techeetah up towards the back of Porsche. Porsche made a break for it early on, but now Audi and Techeetah are right in the fight, and into the lead goes Techeetah. Really, really important for the championship, that. As you say, 12 points the gap between them, so you need a swing of Mercedes winning and Porsche not scoring very well. Mercedes have got to finish at least 4th and hope that Porsche don't finish the race. And at the moment, Porsche are 3rd, Mercedes are 7th. That outcome doesn't look very likely.
Thankfully, we've only had one DNF the entire season, and that was the incident with Audi when they were launched off the course. We did have a DNQ, did not qualify here in this qualifying run, but it's pretty rare that these marbles don't finish the race, so it's all to do for Mercedes.
Porsche down to 4th position then, behind Neo. Techeetah and Audi have hit the front. There go Techeetah and Audi. There go Neo and Porsche, and there is the black Mercedes in 6th position. So they still need to climb a little bit higher up the order. Of course, if Porsche finished 11th or 12th with Mercedes finishing 4th, that would also be enough to clinch them the championship, but Porsche are just looking so strong and so consistent, whereas Mercedes have had their days where they're unbeatable. Those days have waned in the last 3 events.
Mercedes kind of peaked and then gone downward over the course of the season. Now, I say that with a caveat. They've obviously performed very strongly, but they won that first race, then 3rd, 2nd, and 5th, so it's kind of been trending downward. They had a disastrous last race, and what's this one going to look like? Right now, the middle of the pack.
There's 7th, and they're not really making a huge amount of progress forward, are they? Techeetah leading, Audi 2nd, Neo 3rd, Porsche still in 4th, and they'll be happy to just consolidate that. They'll know Mercedes need to finish in front of them. They won't see Mercedes in front of them, so they'll be fairly happy. You can't be taking risks.
And Porsche fallen back to 4th right now, so it is trending in the right direction for Mercedes, but they have to get going. They can't just wait for Porsche to come to them.
Yeah, they're still behind Dragon at the moment. Neo and Techeetah going absolutely side by side for 2nd position. The blue marble trying to get the inside. Techeetah very aggressively covered them off. And Audi it is who are still holding on to the lead of this one, but not for much longer maybe, because Techeetah are right with them. It's a 3-way battle for the lead. This is fantastic stuff. Audi having to soak up huge pressure here. 2 minutes and 20 seconds plus a lap to go, and the three are right together on the belt.
And you could see that developing all the way back at the switchbacks. The decision you make at the end of that back straight really sets you up for the 2nd sector. Are you going to attack? Are you going to hang back a little bit and try to make a charge late? If you put it all out on the line heading into the switchbacks, you could lose out big.
Spread out just a little bit. Well, Neo have lost touch with Audi and Techeetah. Audi still holding the lead. Mercedes still pootling around in 7th position. Audi have managed to just gap Techeetah a little bit. Across the line they come. 1:45 plus a lap to go. Nissan and Envision at the moment won't be scoring any points as it stands. And at the moment, Porsche would wrap up the Marbula E title. Venturia 5th, Dragon a 6th, Mercedes. They're not sort of making any progress. They're not going forward, they're not going backward, they're just holding station in 7th position. Such a quiet race by Marbula E standards. Not up at the front though. Audi and Techeetah still battling hard.
This is getting a little bit more interesting as the seconds tick by, nearing 1 minute and 1 lap to go, and you're wondering if they're saving a little bit of energy, ready to mount that final challenge.
Long, exhausting races these in Marbula E. Can't go flat out all the way through, otherwise we'll just have nothing left in the tank come the end of it. Venturi are getting ahead of Porsche now, so Porsche dropped down to 5th position. Another position lost, but as we've said so many times, Mercedes aren't gaining places, so it doesn't matter how many positions Porsche lose. If Mercedes aren't in the top 4, they are the champions. Here are the leaders again, Audi, Techeetah.
A little bit closer this time as they're going to come off of the belt, and they can see each other on these straights, partially because the straights are long, but because that gap has always stayed relatively even. It's kind of accordion back and forth sometimes, but right now it's looking as big as it has been for Audi in a while.
Porsche now under a bit of trouble from Dragon, so they're getting closer and closer to being reeled in by Mercedes. Venturi are having a very nice run indeed. They were challenging Neo for 3rd, maybe have dropped back a little bit. Audi and Techeetah up onto the ramp to start the final lap of the race.
What are they going to have coming off it? Both of it entered cleanly, both of them exited cleanly, but this gap is looking a little bit bigger for Audi than it has.
But what about the battle for the championship? Mercedes are in 7th position still. Not enough to wrap up the title. Porsche doing enough as they come into the switchbacks again. There are the two leaders, Audi ahead of Techeetah. This is looking like it's going to be a strong win for Audi. Mercedes are right on the back of Porsche now for 5th position, but it's still not going to be enough. Here come Audi through the final turn. They win the final round of Marbula E, but it's Porsche who crossed the line in 5th, who are the champions of 2020. What a performance from Porsche, finishing ahead of Mercedes, who waned in the second half of the season. And it is Porsche who are crowned champions. What a season it's been.
You cannot rest on your laurels in this sport. It continues to press you all the way throughout, and you have to finish strong, which is exactly what Porsche did. Hey, hat tip to Audi also, coming from a DNF a couple of races ago, in what looked like it could have been the end of their season, to come back and win by nearly a second.
Really impressive rejuvenation, but there a confirmation of the final championship standings. 91 points for Tag Heuer Porsche. Mercedes-Benz finishing in 2nd, only just ahead of DS Techeetah in the end, who finished the season with a flourish. Envision Virgin Racing picked up 11 points in the end, only 2 points all season for Nissan Edams. That's quite an astonishing performance, and not in a good way. Audi on the top step after taking victory. A really, really impressive performance from them, but it's the other German marble of Porsche that are the champions of Marbula E.